name's Chazz. I'm 24 and I'm into BMWs. So right now I've got a 2001 BMW 330 Ci. So about 8 months ago, somebody hit my car while it was parked in front of my house. Totaled both the cars. One was upside down in the street in front of my house. And later found out that she was on numerous drugs while doing that. It really sucked. It was a lot of money that essentially felt like was gone in an instant. I mean, spending close to $8,000 in parts alone on a car that you care about just to be gone in a second really takes a hit for sure. On top of all the money that was spent, just the time alone, weeks, months, almost a year of working on this car in my driveway, pulling out various parts, lifting the motor in and out of the car. So initially, after the accident, I kind of understood this car was going to be a total loss. So after dealing with insurance for a while, my own and the other person's insurance, I determined that I was just going to take the money up front and let them keep the car. So in my own eyes, the car was a goner. I was not going to get it back. Funny enough, one of my friends called me early in the morning, right before I had to go to work, and said, "I think I just saw your car go up for auction. You should just try and bid on it and see if you could get it." And sure enough, after pulling some strings with different friends, we were able to purchase the car back for not anywhere near what insurance wanted. The actual figure was $700. We got the car back with some taxes and whatnot. After reacquiring my car that same day, my friend had called me up and told me he just saw another car with a blown head gasket. Exact same car, a year newer, and he said we should go look at it. I was a little skeptical at first because I had just spent money on a car that was completely totaled, was not drivable. So what am I supposed to do with two vehicles that do not drive, that will not be on the road again for a while? With a little bit of convincing, I made my way out there. I believe it was in Wixom, Michigan that we found this car. And we looked at the car, a price was negotiated, and I didn't really feel like I wanted it, so we left. I decided to lowball the seller by a fair bit from his original asking price after we had left, and he said yes. So we pulled into a Menards parking lot. My friend looked over at me and said, "You're not leaving without this vehicle." And I said, "I guess we aren't, so let's go grab some cash." And on his behalf, he decided to pull out some money and front it for me so we could purchase this vehicle, which was dope because I definitely was not thinking that I was going to be getting home with another vehicle. So on my way home, it just so happened to be that both the tow trucks were going to arrive at the same location with two broken Beamers. Funny enough, seeing them pull up was definitely a very surreal feeling, seeing my old car getting dropped off at my house and my new car that was going to be my donor car for all my parts. So the process of me pulling all my parts off of this totaled vehicle and putting them onto my newly acquired donor car started off by I had to get the car into my garage, and the tow truck couldn't get it up there, so it was left in the street. Funny enough, just so happened I was able to drive it up into the driveway. Barely made it up there. A wheel almost fell off. A bunch of parts came off the car in the process of it. It was rough, for sure. But within a week or so, I was able to pull the motor out, pull all the parts that I wanted off of it, and get it ready and prepped for going into the new chassis. So mechanically, I've had quite a bit of experience with BMWs. This was my first time working on this chassis, so there was a little bit of a learning curve that I had to overcome, which definitely made it a little bit easier going with the second time around. I mean, I had already pulled out one motor. Once we had gotten to that stage, I prepped all my parts and ready to get into the next one, the new vehicle. I then pulled that one into the driveway, pulled the motor out, and then got it ready and prepped, cleaned it up, and then put my new motor in. Now the issues that I ran into, this new car that I had purchased, my donor vehicle, was an automatic transmission. And not many people know this, but BMWs are known for their issues with their wiring, especially when it comes to changing parts on a vehicle that don't originally belong there from factory. So anything from your headlight being swapped to your security controls has to be coded in via computer. So let me tell you, I know a fair bit of German now, and it was not intentional, and it was not enjoyable by any means. Hours and hours of sitting in my garage at 3 a.m. in the morning, trying to Google and cross-reference translations for German to English, all to be found out with one simple little fix. A transmission controller that needed to be switched into an on position, which would allow me to start my vehicle. After that process was done, I was able to start, run, and drive my new donor car. So basically the plans for the car, not too much else needs to be done. I'm probably going to put some new tires on it, a newer bumper, clean up some of the areas where the paint might be a little bit rough. And as far as what I'm going to do with the car, I plan on attending many drift events, hopefully this year and in the next, and practicing my skill and seeing if I can crash my car intentionally this time.